Electric vehicle sales are experiencing a decline as General Motors has just made a surprising move by discontinuing EVs. In a bold decision that has left many EV manufacturers upset and bewildered, CEO Mary Barra has responded to public sentiment and reversed GM's electric vehicle strategy, opting to reintroduce traditional gas cars. The abrupt shift in GM's approach has raised questions about why the company abandoned EVs despite substantial investments. Speculation has arisen about potential hidden motives from EV manufacturers. What could be the secret plan behind GM CEO Mary Barra's move to bring back gas cars? Could this decision impact the electric vehicle market? If you believed that gas cars were a thing of the past, there's some reassuring information ahead. Here's the scoop. General Motors is distancing itself from electric vehicles and resisting the government's push towards EVs. Mary Barra recently declared a halt to the majority of GM's electric vehicle initiatives, aligning the company with the desire for reliable combustion cars that are more affordable and devoid of unnecessary embellishments. This shift is in response to the challenging landscape of the EV market, which resulted in GM facing substantial losses exceeding $1 billion last year. Let's rewind to 2019, when GM initially embraced the electric wave, discarding gas cars, including the popular Chevy pickups. Surprisingly, these pickups were performing well. GM was riding high on the prospects of dominating the world with the Chevy Bolt EV and the cutting-edge Ultium EV platform, but the reality turned out differently. The EV market proved to be less forgiving to GM, prompting them to re-evaluate their strategy and pivot back to the familiarity of traditional gas cars. The original game plan was to saturate the streets with these sleek electric vehicles, leaving gas guzzlers in the rearview mirror. However, things didn't unfold as smoothly as anticipated. The grand dreams of a thriving electric vehicle market hit some substantial roadblocks. The Chevy Bolt, expected to be their star EV, turned out to be more of a troublemaker, plagued by production and delivery issues. Even the highly touted Ultium-powered EVs from GM struggled, with fewer than 1,000 units sold. And then came the bombshell from GM's CEO Mary Barra, announcing an unexpected U-turn back to gas cars. Surprisingly, gas cars have continued to enjoy robust sales, while EVs face challenges, including reports from owners citing low-quality interiors and rattling issues. If that wasn't enough, the GM CEO, Mary Barra, delivered another blow during a recent earnings call. She openly admitted that GM had incurred significant losses and expressed skepticism about ever surpassing Tesla or achieving profitability in the EV business. The company also weathered the storm of the United Auto Workers strike, incurring a hefty cost of over $750 million in just 1 week. As a consequence, GM had to offload their EVs at a substantial loss, amounting to $112,000 for each unit and even higher for certain high-range EVs. This resulted in a colossal loss of over $1 billion in their electric vehicle venture. Now, Mary Barra has completely shifted gears, essentially telling other EV manufacturers to take a step back. The general sentiment is that most consumers are unwilling to shell out $60,000 to $80,000 for a vehicle that has a limited range of 150 miles in winter and is unsuitable for towing, as stated by the GM CEO. Crafting electric vehicles, EVs, within the attractive price range of $30,000 to $40,000 seems to be an unattainable goal. This notion is rooted in the lack of profitability. Consider this scenario. They were all set to unveil the 2024 Chevy Equinox EV, proudly flaunting a $30,000 price tag. Yet now they're reconsidering, citing various challenges. One significant factor contributing to this shift is the recent tragedies involving people losing their lives in EV fires, a topic I'll delve into later in this video. Consequently, and compounded by numerous other EV-related issues, consumers are opting to stick with gas cars, particularly in the more budget-friendly price range. Here's where it gets interesting. Barr, the head honcho, openly acknowledges that Tesla, the powerhouse led by Elon Musk, is outpacing them in the EV arena. Tesla boasts superior technology, profits, and a substantial scale, leaving GM playing catch-up. In order to ensure profitability, GM is reverting to the reliable domain of gas cars, already making significant sales. In the last quarter, GM's gas car sales even surpassed Ford's, securing the top spot in America. The plot thickens as Barr discloses that the current high costs associated with manufacturing EV batteries might might delay the availability of affordable EVs for another decade. It's a challenging landscape. It's important to note that GM isn't navigating this terrain alone. Another established automaker, Ford, is also feeling the impact of the EV market downturn. To add to the mix, GM has abandoned a substantial $5 billion deal with Honda, which aimed to produce over 400,000 EVs. The winds of change are blowing in the automotive industry. Hold on, there's more to the story. GM isn't just hitting the brakes, they had ambitious plans to increase the production of their electric trucks, including the Silverado EV, at a Michigan factory. However, they've put a pause on those plans, pushing the timeline to late 2025. According to them, it's all about capital management and aligning with EV demand. But between us, it sounds like they're encountering significant challenges on the road. The challenges aren't limited to the domestic front. Even in China, GM is facing hurdles. Sales are on a downward trend, and they're struggling to keep pace with local competition. It seems like they're in a perpetual state of catch-up, with other players surging ahead in the EV race. And it's not just GM in this predicament. Ford is sailing in the same boat. They've got their share of drama, scaling back production of their prominent EV, the F-150 Lightning. Initially geared up for a substantial production run, they're now slashing those numbers in half, citing a lack of demand. Both auto giants, GM and Ford, were racing towards the EV finish line, investing billions to roll out electric vehicles. However, now it seems like they've hit a roadblock. Sales are stalling, production plans are being tossed aside, and it's turning into quite a chaotic situation. Now, let's delve into the problems these EVs are grappling with. First and foremost, there's the fire issue. Instances of EVs catching fire, leading to fatalities, have raised serious concerns. GM itself faced an incident where its EV was involved in a fatal accident, striking a woman and dragging her for a mile. Even Tesla, the major player in the EV industry, has encountered numerous cases of EVs going up in flames, presenting a challenge with no easy solutions. Hold on, unfortunately. There's more to consider. These sophisticated EV batteries struggle in colder temperatures. When the mercury drops, their range takes a hit, akin to your phone's battery on a particularly challenging day. Charging in frigid conditions? Forget about it. It becomes a waiting game, with the wait extending indefinitely just to get enough charge to reach the next station. Now, let's talk about reliability, or the lack thereof. EVs are accumulating repair issues at an alarming rate, as if repair problems are going out of fashion. If your battery decides to call it quits, be prepared to dig deep into your pockets. The cost might rival that of buying an entirely new car, all for a battery replacement. Even the Biden administration is fully committed to this cause, establishing stricter emissions norms and essentially signaling to car manufacturers to embrace electric vehicles or face the consequences. It's as if they're proclaiming, "Forget gas cars, EVs are the future, man." However, the current reality doesn't quite align with this vision. The future appears to be fraught with challenges, particularly when it comes to the reliability of EVs. Now let's touch on the cost aspect. EVs were touted as vehicles that would save us money. Yet, when you factor in explosions, hefty repair bills, and the game of hide and seek with charging stations, the promised savings become elusive. So, what's the bottom line here? EVs were meant to lead us into a cleaner, greener future, but at present they seem more like ticking time bombs on wheels. The dream of a world powered by electricity might just remain a dream. While I'm an advocate for electric cars and environmental sustainability, it's hard to ignore the sense of backpedaling. A few years ago, GM's top brass were all about ditching gas cars, asserting they were just a pit stop on the road to the EV future. Now it feels like watching someone rummage through their closet, retrieving an old flip phone because the latest smartphone keeps crashing. The timing is intriguing, especially with EV demand encountering obstacles. GM has had a rocky journey with recalls and less than stellar launches like the Hummer EV and the Blazer EV. Now, with the EV market not looking as promising as anticipated, GM is reverting to gas cars. It's a substantial reality check, not just for GM, but for the entire auto industry. Clearly, EVs have their share of issues, and perhaps we weren't as prepared as we thought. Brands are starting to grasp this reality, but when will the government catch on?